All right, mayors. I'm almost excited to do almost a pump-up press conference. Mayors, are you ready? Yes. Welcome to Kansas City. I'm Quentin Lucas, the mayor of Kansas City, Missouri. We are excited to have this incredible group of mayors, more than 200 mayors, more than 1,000 attendees who are here for the 92nd annual meeting of the United States Conference of Mayors. It is a thrill, Madam President, that you gave us the opportunity to host here in Kansas City. It has been an exciting year in Kansas City. Not only did we win a Super Bowl, which you Kansas Cityans are like, okay, we got a few fans. I was also able to welcome a new baby yesterday. So as one of my friends pointed out, this is a rare press conference. I have a little badge keeping track of me, but that's to get into the hospital, not to stay in and out of trouble. Important conversations going on during this conference. The U.S. Conference of Mayors takes pride in being a bipartisan, really a nonpartisan institution, finding solutions for America's cities. As part of that, we are led by an exceptional leader, the mayor of Reno, Hillary Sheevey, who will kick us off today. Mayor Sheevey.
Well, thank you, Mayor Lucas. And I learned last night what a burnt end is. I was like, do I want that? That doesn't sound so good. But it was pretty amazing.
It's good.
And congratulations on the new future mayor, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Well, I like it. Thank you so much. Your city is absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
It is impressive. And the food is to die for. That burnt end, I learned it's pretty fabulous. Anyway, thank you, everyone, for being with us today. Obviously, this is our June press conference for the United States Conference of Mayors. And quite honestly, I am reflecting as I get to pass the baton to Mayor Ginther, and I'm sort of reflecting on the year that I had, and it's been incredibly exhilarating, but also very, very busy. We've done several fly-ins with all of our state representatives, bless you, with all of our state representatives on mental health, homelessness. Mayor Bass, where are you? Are you? Oh, there you are. Okay, thank you. She did an impressive job bringing 40, what did we bring, 45 mayors? It was pretty miraculous. And so we are moving the needle on some of America's biggest issues. I will say, though, it is with a very, very heavy heart whenever I have to sort of reflect and think about the past presidents of the Conference of Mayors and thinking about, once again, and as you guys know, getting up here thinking about gun violence in our country. And I was thinking about the past presidents, and I was thinking of Mayor Nan Whaley, mass shooting, Mayor Suarez, past president, mass shooting, Mayor Kautz, just recently, mass shooting, Mayor Barnett, 5 days ago, mass shooting. And Mayor Lucas, not too long ago, at your parade.
Yes, ma'am.
Think about that. Now, I have not had one in my city, but I have had the largest mass shooting in my state, the state of Nevada. And what it sort of reminds me is that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And it's chilling. And it's absolutely unacceptable. So as mayors, we have some of the loudest voices in this country, and we have to make that commitment that we will not stop. We will absolutely not stop. I would just like Mayor Barnett from Rochester Hills just to come and say a few words, because I know the last few days have been really, really difficult for you and your community.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, President Sheevey. It is hard. I've been blessed to be a past president of this organization, and I've watched my colleagues go through situations like this, never thinking that it would happen to me somewhat foolishly. And 5 days ago, it did. My community is, by statistics, the safest city in Michigan for 7 years in a row, but it wasn't on Saturday. I got that call that so many mayors dread, that there is an active shooter in your splash pad or an active shooter in your city. I raced to the scene, and on my way there I thought what I needed to do, and the strong stance I would take and the leadership I would provide. And the minute I arrived at the splash pad, I just broke down in tears. It was emotional because what was designed to be a place for kids to play, and you don't have to have visited my city to know who's at a splash pad. It's families and kids, mostly under 10. A gunman came up and fired 36 shots into 9 people, most of them kids. 2 of them still in critical condition every morning, including this morning. I wake up and the first thing on my mind is an 8-year-old boy in my city that got shot in the face, and his mom, whose body shielded him from 7 more shots as they fight their battle. And I'm reminded on this particular day that this is a cross-section that so many of the folks behind me have found themselves before at the intersection of mental health and gun violence. That it is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and if it happens in my community, as it has in so many of my colleagues' communities, it can happen in yours. The gunman took his life later that afternoon, and in his room, just a community over from mine, they found 11 other guns and an assault weapon loaded on the table. His probably terror that day was stopped only by excellent police action, quick work. My job now is to try to heal a community that is challenged. Obviously, the shooter, had some strong mental health issues, and now the mental health of my community is my #1 focus. It's been the focus of our president under her leadership, and it's something that is so needed across this country. And I'm here, maybe some wondering why 5 days you're here so quickly. I'm here for my mental health, because none of you on that side of this podium know what it's like, but most of the people behind me do. And my friends have been so incredibly supportive in the hours that followed the shooting, calls from the president, the governor, and so many others. But 70 of these people, 70 of the mayors that I stand with today, called or texted me in the 2 days that followed the shooting. They know what it's like. And so I'll add my voice with all of theirs in the chorus of concerns about gun violence and mental health and what we as a nation and we as mayors must do. And I support and applaud President Sheevy for her leadership on mental health. This is something that we must not ever rest on. And my community now joins the sad list of commas in cities that have been struck by gun violence. We won't be defined by this issue. We'll be defined by the response, and I know that's the mayor's stance as well. Thank you, President Sheevy.
And then I was just thinking at our last meeting, Mayor Couts.
Yeah. So we were at leadership.
When we were at our leadership meeting.
Yeah.
Happened to you, our first responders. Anyway, I want to thank each and every one of you for the incredible work you are doing in your cities on mental health. So many of you have come to me and said, you know, we are talking about it. It is obviously an issue that still holds a huge stigma, and especially with mayors when we talk about our own mental health. And so I want to commend Brian and all of the mayors behind me who are also addressing their mental health, and that's obviously why the conference is so important to us. And I want to just say thank you so much to Mayor Andy Ginther, because he has promised to continue on with our national mental health initiatives. We've been on the Hill lobbying like crazy. Just so many lawmakers have been so receptive and know that something needs to change. I think it's the #1 crisis in America. When you see statistics from ages 18 to 24, that half of them are reporting suicide and depression and anxiety. What does that tell you that this country is facing when it comes to mental health? It really is staggering. And so mayors have made the commitment to step up and make sure that we make change in this country when it comes to access to mental health and to erasing the stigma, the huge stigma that has associated with it. And so I want to just thank my colleagues for being so incredibly gracious and just genuine about the struggles with mental health across this country. All right, with that being said, Mayor Andy Ginther, please come on up. Where are you? There you are.
Well, thank you so much for your incredible leadership, President Sheevy. We are so grateful to you for your tremendous work as president of this conference over the past year. I know I speak for the entire membership when I say how grateful we are for your steady leadership, your friendship, your counsel, your incredible ability.
Craziness, my incredible crazy. I'm
Your
there
incredible-
setting my out loud voice. You know that's me.
Your incredible ability to have all of us, regardless of where we come from, the size of our city, the part of the country, feel welcome and part of this conference. It's an honor to be with you here today with my fellow mayors. Last year I was thrilled to host this annual gathering in my hometown of Columbus. And if the last 24 hours are any sign, I think Mayor Lucas is going to hit it out of the park with an incredible conference here. Our annual meeting is a time when America's mayors come together to learn from one another, to collaborate on behalf of our cities and our people, to raise our shared voice, to drive progress in these challenging times. Those of you who know me hear this often from me, but I'll say it again because I think it's foundational to what we do both here at our annual meeting and back at home. As mayors, we represent cities big and small, constituents from all walks of life. Our backgrounds are varied. Our issues are wide-ranging. Our cities have different politics. But as America's mayors, we don't allow these differences to divide us. In fact, we honor this diversity of perspectives as we work together to find common ground in building thriving cities across our nation. This organization has shown what is possible when we share our shared voice to drive progress. The last several years, we have seen incredible successes for American cities, including at the federal level. America's cities are in the midst of a renaissance thanks to the American Rescue Plan, made bipartisan because of Republican and independent mayors lifting their voices in supporting the American Rescue Plan. New roads are being laid and new bridges are being built thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law. New clean energy and sustainability projects are powering our climate to a healthier future, thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act. And of particular importance to my city, I think Mayor Gallego as well, new Silicon Valleys are rising thanks to the CHIPS and Science Act. And it's important to note that each of these game-changing initiatives were championed not just by one party, but by Republican, Democratic, and independent mayors alike. Finding that common ground will continue to be critical as we tackle the challenge before us. Challenges like responsible gun ownership, the mental health crisis, like immigration and climate change. And among the most critical, the national crisis of homelessness and lack of affordable housing, which is impacting every city across our nation, regardless of size, geography, or partisan politics. As American mayors, we'll continue to collaborate on solutions that can be applied nationwide. We'll continue to call on our federal partners to develop a coordinated national response. As America's mayors, we know how important it is to make our voice heard and to speak as one. We'll continue to do that this week and in the weeks and months to come. We've got a lot of work to do, but I can't think of a more talented group in better position to get the job done than America's mayors. As we tell the presidents and Congress and governors and state legislatures all the time, if you want something done in America, give it to a mayor. And we will get it done for the American people. Thank you all.
I love that. We will get it done. I love it. All right. Next up in the program, Mayor David Holt. Come on up. You're our second vice president. Come on up.
Well, thank you. I'm David Holt, the mayor of Oklahoma City, America's 20th largest city, and I'm also the second vice president of this organization. I certainly want to begin by joining the chorus of gratitude to our host, my friend, Mayor Quentin Lucas. OKC and KC share 2 letters and a region. And though we in Oklahoma City certainly think we have all that we need, it has been documented in song that Oklahomans historically visit here because everything is up to date in Kansas City. I have, in fact, already been impressed with your 7-story buildings, which, despite what you may have heard about Oklahoma City skyscrapers, is about as high as a building ought to grow. Hosting an annual meeting is a heavy lift, but a wonderful opportunity. The other 2 officers of our organization, as you just heard, did it recently as mayor. I helped host as the mayor's chief of staff in 2010 in OKC and still have incredibly fond memories of the experience. There really is no greater opportunity to spread the good news about your city than to host a few hundred of the most trusted and influential people in the country. So thank you in advance, Q, for your hospitality, and congrats to you and your community for putting together what we know will be a memorable Kansas City experience, one that will surely leave us with a lasting impression that KC has gone about as far as you can go. I also want to thank President and Reno Mayor Hillary Sheevy for her past year of leadership, especially on critical issues like mental health and homelessness. The trip to D.C. this spring with Mayor Karen Bass and dozens of other mayors was one of the most memorable experiences I have ever had with the Conference of Mayors, sincerely. Certainly the portfolio of a modern city is evolving, and your priorities as president of this organization have aptly reflected that. And I congratulate Vice President and Columbus Mayor Andy Ginther for your upcoming presidency. There's so many of us. This is amazing, by the way. Like, I can't even find people because we're all over the room. That's awesome. Your upcoming presidency, set to commence Sunday. You are an ideal person to lead us through yet another emotional, high-stakes national election. My gratitude to all the mayors who have joined us here. We see each other's work here and there in bits and pieces flying by on TV or on social media, and it inspires us. We just heard a sober reminder this past week as we watched with sadness as Brian Barnett bravely led his community through the aftermath of that terrible act of gun violence that has become all too common. 4 months ago, as you heard, we saw the same leadership from former President Elizabeth Kautz. Mayors lead, they bring people together, they work across the ideological spectrum, as you heard from Mayor Ginther, to find common purpose, and they are the most effective leaders this nation has right now. Mayors get things done. I know that usually when we come to an annual meeting, we are not necessarily speaking to a collection of national press like we might at our DC meeting. We are speaking mostly to a group of local media. This happens in cities all around the country, and so it is today. The members of the Kansas City media here gathered pretty much work with only one mayor, in this case a pretty good one, but nonetheless, perhaps you've not had the chance to fully appreciate that the national political class of mayors is not like the nonsense you see on cable TV. We stand shoulder to shoulder, Republicans, Democrats, and independents. We are serious people. I mean, we can be funny, but we do not treat these obligations like a game. We feel the burden resting on our shoulders, and we give this calling the respect it deserves. We practice politics as it was practiced in this country for 2 centuries. We compromise, and we move forward, and we are outcome-oriented. We don't think that a scathing tweet or a press release is an accomplishment. In my city, we call this ethos to set aside the things that divide us one OKC. I wear it on my lapel every day. I suspect I'm not the only mayor up here that has a similar brand. It is inherent to our office. In the months ahead, however, there will be candidates for state and federal offices who will seek to divide us, who will even say that fellow Americans are in fact enemies. They will dehumanize and call fellow Americans vermin. In my city, we have a scar in our downtown that reminds us what happens when you take words of dehumanization to their logical outcome. America's mayors, Republicans, Democrats, and independents will not stand for this election year rhetoric. Our election year platform as mayors will have substance, and Mayor Ginther will no doubt speak to that on Sunday, but it will also stand for decency and respect, pluralism, compromise, and pragmatism. People who have been given these titles should feel an obligation to use them to preserve this unique American experiment, to appeal to the better angels of our nature. we mayors will feel that obligation and we will do our part, perhaps uniquely so. So thank you to the local media for joining us today, and thank you for allowing me to share with you who I think we are as America's mayors. You are in the presence of a unique group of people, the Jedis of American political life. And I'm deeply honored to stand among them. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sherlock Dawson, City of Riverside, California. I also, your question was, how do we make our residents feel safe? I think was a big part of that. I want residents to know also, there are many times when there have been such incidences averted through just good old-fashioned police work, monitoring chatter, seeing what's going on. We had one just this last year in the city of Riverside where we averted a mass shooting by just our police officers being able to monitor what was going on. And it was at one of our biggest events of the year that we have millions of people there. So I do want folks to know, yes, it's a reality, but yes, we're looking at it all the time and trying to keep our residents safe. So I think every mayor up here could say that.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you all so much.
Guys for being here.